as basic and generic as a mystery thriller can get. Vanish into the Night is a Netflix original set in Italy. Where in Italy? Somewhere on the coast where you can get to Greece in about 3 hours. I don't fucking know. This was directed by Renato de Maria. Maria, I gotta see her. Maria, Maria, led by Carlos Santana. Might as well have a little bit of fun because I didn't have a lot of fun watching Vanished into the Night. I will say this movie is competent as far as, well, the presentation. It looks cool, but this feels contractually obligated to exist, and I will explain. First, there's really only two people you'll recognize unless you're deep into Italian film lore. I'm not. I mean, the other actors are fine. You have Annabelle Wallis, who was in the movie Annabelle. I know apparently they didn't trust her to know any other name other than her own. She probably got confused by the fact that the doll was named Annabelle. No, okay, no, I'm sorry. Unfair. She seems nice. She plays Elena, and she has a husband, Pietro, who is played by Riccardo Scamarcio, who was in John Wick Chapter 2. I still need to rewatch the John Wick movies and possibly review them because I never actually got around to Chapter 4. That being said, a lot of movies that I've watched. This is the 162nd movie that I have watched this year, by the way, and I heard that this is being watched by a lot of people on Netflix, so okay, I don't know how accurate the streaming numbers and the bolstered numbers are, but let's give it a shot. So you have a divorced couple, or a couple going through a divorce, Elena and Pietro, and basically they are coming to an agreement to share custody of their kids. She came from New York or somewhere in the U.S., and he's Italian, and the kids speak Italian. There's bops between English and Italian, mostly Italian, but that's fine. That's why subtitles exist, and actually there's been some really, really good Italian movies that have come out on Netflix. This isn't one of them, and also one of my favorite actresses ever. Monica Bellucci is Italian, and good God, can't wait for Beetlejuice to see her. She's not in this, though, unfortunately. As hilarious as that would have been, just to see what she could have. Mafia Mama, by the way, is something she was actually pretty good in. Let's get to this. So, yeah, the kids go missing. They vanish into the night. And then the mystery must be solved. Also, Pietro has a criminal past that he must dive back into to rescue his kids. Yeah, generic as generic can get. It's obvious who's behind this whole goddamn thing. I will say, besides the picturesque stuff and the fact that there's one Italian blonde lawyer, my God, whoever she is, holy fuck, she's beautiful. And Annabelle looks, and look, Riccardo is a good actor. He just isn't given anything to do here. And yes, picturesque stuff. It's a breezy, 85 minutes. So at least there's that. But this feels just so like they just literally went with a checklist. And then went with the checklist above that. And actually, I don't think they got past 5 entries. Couple that obviously is going to have some issues, check. Kids that are caught in the middle, check. Criminal past that must be revisited in generic ways, check. And oh wait, we have a twist that everybody can see coming from 100 kilometers away, check. And oh, a final showdown. Oh, I got the bingo. So yeah, basically after the kids go missing, when Pietro has them for a weekend, he must figure out what's happening. Elena is wondering what the hell is going on. There's a friend, Nicola, or Nico for short. I'd say the guy playing him, actually, he's fine. I might need to see him in more stuff. He's fine in more ways than one, but I digress. So, he basically, had a brief interaction with Pietro and the kids and says, okay, help me and I'll help you out. You need this much money? Because these criminals call and give him an ultimatum, basically 150,000 euros. I thought it was lira, but then I remembered that euros is basically the main currency. I assume in Europe. I don't know, but I assume that. I know lira was something that was in Italy. Maybe still is. I don't know enough about Italian currency, shocking as that might be. So basically the idea is he has to take the boat, leave his phone, turn the GPS off the boat, go get some stuff for Nico. And when he does, money will be transferred to them. He'll give them 150 grand, and there you go. So he does that. The boat breaks down. The criminals, by the way, are there for all of 2 minutes. It's some kilos of cocaine, apparently. I guess it's just something you could do in Greece. I mean, I've never been to Greece. Never been inside Greece or a Greek woman. More in the pity. He takes off. Boat has issues. Coast Guard shows up. Coast Guard guy shows up, or goes with him to make sure he gets back to shore finally. And and then it's like when Amelia Earhart actually was asked, do you need to shower? And she says, no, I'll just wash up ashore. Nevertheless, I think an Amelia Earhart joke is appropriate because this movie is dead on arrival. We're about halfway through the goddamn movie. He gets back to, even with the boat trouble, he manages to get back, takes a bus, comes to his apartment, or her apartment, that is, Elena's apartment, and the kids are there. Okay. What the hell's going on? Oh, yes, and by the way, once he, confronted Nicholas, he basically got in a damn fight with him, because he wanted the money, and Nico held a gun, against him and said, hey, by the way, if it's loaded or not, let me pull the trigger and I'll double your money. He's drunk. There are a couple of beautiful Italian women, including the one that greeted him at the door. Speaking of Italian women, whatever happened to that one in The Equalizer 3? I liked her. She would have done good in this. So, they get in a stupid fight. Nico says, everything's fine, don't worry, take the money. The kids are all right. And it basically turns out that Elena is going to take them to New York. And she recorded this whole thing, this argument that they had about all this stuff, making it sound like he was totally crazy. And he needs to sign the papers and sign the stuff over. There was divorce proceedings in the beginning of the thing that went absolutely nowhere, even though they seemed amicable. And she's going to take him to the airport and take him off. And if you don't do that, I'm going to send that to the police. Oh, yes. And then it turns out he went back to his house in like some villa in wherever the fuck. I don't know anything about Italian geography. I mean, it looked like a picturesque location. There was this thing a little bit earlier. He said to his son about flushing the toilet twice. Well, turns out somebody didn't. The kids don't remember what happened because the kids were drugged. And there was a little, narcotic something or other pill thing. I don't know, birth control for all I goddamn know. And a narcotic birth control pill. That sounds counterproductive. Elena basically drugged him and wanted to do it because she couldn't do this. And she needed to have the kids. And she needed to do this even though this stuff's traceable. But she thought she could get away with it because of her husband's criminal past. Oh, yes, and then he confronts her at the airport and basically says, there's traces of this available in the hair for a while, so I could get somebody in New York to trace it somehow, and then the kids stay there. And then there was also somebody named Santo. So he had to give money to El Santo, and he paid off some gambling debts that he had, and that was with the 150,000 euros, some of it, and I guess he could repair his house. He could do what I don't care, look. It sounded jumbled and all over the goddamn place, mainly because I was struggling to remember anything, even though I wrote shit down on my notes, because this movie is just so manufactured and so contractually obligated to exist. It really has no right to even be filmed. I'm sorry, this was not good. This was not good at all. I'm glad people got work, but it was bad. F gets an F. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.